Hey, welcome everybody, and welcome back to Bedard's Unofficial Podcast. It's been a shitload of time since we've had a podcast, and today I've welcomed Crazy James Wakel, my good friend.
I'm back. How many months has it been?
I didn't even count before this, but I'll try to write it up in the intro, but it's got to be 6 months or some god awful thing, only
It's been a
because,
while.
well, I don't want to blame Trump because that's too fucking easy, but I just didn't want to deal. I mean, the whole situation down here was so fucked up that I didn't really feel that it was appropriate to, talk about our boys' school or whatever little fucking traumas we might have while the entire world burns. Maybe I'm stupid.
We can talk about that.
Well, we are talking about that. So, I was inspired to give you a call today and said, shit, let's record because I was on a Zoom call earlier with a bunch of Selkirk guys.
Okay.
And it was actually, it didn't deteriorate into a MAGA maple, whatever, fuck, Alberta 51 bullshit type of call, which no doubt if I did a general call and invited people from SJSA, that's probably a lot of what I'd get. No?
Maybe.
Or do you
I,
think it's more
I,
50-50?
I don't know. We had it's our rodeo days here today and tomorrow in town.
Oh,
It's
cool.
it's the Super Bowl, and I was driving our member of parliament around because we wouldn't want to spend an hour alone with their elected representative. Um,
Cool.
yeah. Um, but there was an Alberta separation uh, float in our parade. The Facebook comments, there was a lot of people were like, "Yeah, we didn't cheer. It got real quiet when they went by."
It's fucked up. I mean, I've been through it. I never went through it in Quebec. And I think Alberta needs to have what I would term provincial rights, much like in the US, states have rights. But, there's a level federal, state, local, county, and
Yeah,
city, much
yeah,
like there is in Canada, right?
yeah,
And when you fuck with the law and you fuck with the order and you fuck with the system,
yeah.
bullshit happens. And the Alberta 51 stuff, even, I mean, the Parti Québécois now is not, people say, oh, they're separatists, blah, but Quebec's not going to separate ever.
No, they haven't. You know what? After the was it was it 90? Well, you're 95, 94, mid
Don't
90s.
know.
When they had that referendum, that last one, and they
Oh, I
won.
don't know.
And
There were
it
two,
was
there,
close,
yeah.
right? It was like 51 to 50 kind of thing, or 51
Is
49.
probably a little more pronounced than that, but yeah, it
It was.
lost.
It wasn't. It was really close, but they kind of shot their wad, and that was the second time in 20 years that they had tried to do it. Industry fled Quebec the first, well, when the Parti Québécois first got in, industry fled. The Bank of Montreal's headquarters is not in Montreal.
Yeah, you don't really want me to get into that discussion because I will talk about with the Sun Life as being the evil motherfuckers that they really are. But, I don't want to go there. I don't think. But my point is, they didn't separate. They got more provincial rights. Alberta maybe gets better provincial rights. But, so what? I mean, but you're still a fucking province in my mind.
It'll always be a province. What the part that the Alberta 51 group, all of them, they gloss over the treaty rights, the fact that Treaty 6, 7, and 8 makes up 95% of this province. And It's all of the good parts that it makes up. There's
No,
no,
it's
after Quebec tried to separate the last time, it was basically made, it's illegal. You can't do it. There's
yeah.
no mechanism to leave Confederation. Um, I don't like the way our premier is dealing with it. She's pandering. Oh, I'm not a separatist, but you pander to them, you know, and you don't necessarily have to have both sides on. Two plus two is four. If there's somebody out there insisting that it's five, you ignore them because they're wrong. And everybody knows they're wrong. So you
Yeah.
cater to both sides in
Well,
some
it's like the
respect.
Jeff Rath thing. No, I when Jeff Rath first came on the scene, I my comment on Facebook was, you know, uh, all hat, no cattle.
Yeah.
Because a big black hat, and I
Yeah.
mean, fuck, who wants to be Texan? No offense, Ian Goodwin, who's probably listening, but who the hell wants to be Texan? Really? I don't want to wear a fucking hat like that.
Yeah. I mean,
Maybe
if
I'll
you're
wear
wearing a hat
black.
like
I
that,
look
you
good in
better be a
black.
cowboy.
He's no fucking cowboy. He's a plowboy. But anyway, he allegedly went off with a bunch of money from the tribal, like he was a lawyer for,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, like they're suing him.
Well,
Uh,
like I said, it's, the courts will decide, but I mean, it's alleged, right, at this point.
yes, everything's
It's
alleged.
not like Paul Shepard, who's a convicted pedophile.
And in jail.
No,
Where
I
you
don't think he's in
belong,
jail.
Paul.
I don't think he's in jail anymore.
Really?
Yeah. Even the Supreme Court thing only extended his stay for like a few months. It wasn't that, he put it off and put it off and put it off and put it off and
Yeah,
then
but he still
served
doesn't get to
minimal
spend his
time.
time in jail. He's still got
Hmm?
to go to jail.
Well,
He
the
gets
thing
his out.
is, you get let out. Like you get let out to do, I mean, you go to a halfway house, right? There is society does want you to be reintegrated into society. However, with Mr. Shepard, he's facing shit, at least one civil lawsuit I saw, and then he's facing criminal charges, I think, in Ontario.
More. Good.
So, you know,
I hope
and
he loses.
I mean, I don't want to do I keep telling myself I don't want to do a true crime podcast, but the Shepherd case would probably be, I mean, every fucking rock you turn over, something crawls out of that asshole. Anyway,
Shepherd is different though for us because we went to the St. John's schools. We're part of that system. Hell, I just missed him by a year here in Alberta. So knowing that a piece of work like him got into our school, and I mean, St. John's was hard enough as it was. Toughest school in North America for a reason, right? You don't need your teacher diddling you on the side to make it
well,
easier, especially
th-
when you're what, 11, 12, 13 years old.
you're not in, I mean, I came in 10th grade, so
Yeah, but I
I
mean,
was
grade
a lot
sevens.
older. No,
How old
grade
are you in grade
sevens or
seven?
grade eights are just, that's just terrific. That's a nightmare
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, I mean,
but
you're too young and generally too small to, that's a teacher. I have to listen to them.
So I want to do a shout out. Today is Mike Vidricare's 70th birthday. That's who we sort of Zoom bombed him and surprised him in Alberta. He lives, I know you live in High Prairie. He lives in another prairie down south. Name it. I don't know. You're in High Prairie. Where are you?
I'm in
You're
High Prairie. Is he in High River?
Nah, he's in, it's a prairie, but I forget. It
Grand
shows you
Prairie?
how lame I am. It's a really nice place down in the southern part of the state of the province. God, I said state. It's a really nice place in the, down at the bottom of the 51st state.
Oh, you son of
What a dick.
a bitch.
Uh, no, I want to say Grand
Battle
Prairie.
Prairie.
Grand Prairie.
Well, Grand Prairie's up north, and that's 2 hours from me.
Oh, well, maybe I'm wrong then. Anyway,
Maybe I'm just
whatever.
looking at the map upside
70th
down.
birthday, he had a bunch of guys on Zoom, so
Oh,
I didn't
happy
have to
pig
go
day.
there. Yes, happy birthday to them. Happy birthday to him. Good to see he's kicking. And he read God's Paddlers
What did he
and
think?
thought, huh?
What did he think?
It's really interesting. Pretty much most of the boys who read it, who I graduated with, get it and understand its purpose, which is it's a history.
Yeah.
It's not out to get anybody. It's really
No, I
history. And
I
it's
thought it was
fucking
very
Canadian
fair.
history. Hmm?
I thought it was very fair.
Well, you could really have sensationalized a lot of it. I mean, some of the chapters you could make into a book if you really wanted to start, getting weird or not getting weird, but
Well,
expounding.
sensationalizing it. Yeah.
But it's funny. He had Mike is a good guy. He's very, really, I mean, he liked it. Another guy, Ian liked it, which was great, meant a lot to me. Ian Goodwin was really, really nice. He was always a nice man. He was never a dick. He turned into a nurse. He was an ER nurse. Now he's a retired ER nurse. His
Okay.
only fault is that he lives in Texas. It's pretty fucked up. But,
I got a cousin that lives in Texas.
well, that's sorry for, it must suck to be him.
You know, once once you have a new president and a new administration, and shit's not as crazy down there, I
Right.
uh, I'd like to go back. But for as long as Donald Trump is your president and the GOP continues to push this batshit crazy agenda, you ain't getting any of my loonies.
Well, it's bad. It's Las Vegas misses you. Definitely that Las Vegas has had a downturn in visitors from
Yeah.
Canada, from
Well, Canadians are
everywhere,
the biggest chunk of their visitors.
and
And
drunk Canadians,
well,
mainly
your beer
Canadians who are
sucks,
really
right?
fucked up.
So, like one Canadian beer is worth like a case of yours.
Oh, you know what? I don't want to hear that shit because you and I both know that you go into a fucking bar in Calgary and you order a beer and they throw a fucking Budweiser your way. All right? So I don't want to hear any more of that shit.
Well, if it's if
The
it's if
days
it's
of
if it's
Labatt's
Calgary, it
50.
might be Big Rock beer.
What's that?
If it's Calgary, it might be a Big Rock beer. There's a
A big,
brewery down there, Big
oh,
Rock.
because you guys pretend they're into IPAs and shit. I know, but I'm talking about your standard beers. Budweiser took over. Sorry, hate to say it.
Kokanee, there's a lot of that.
It's either Molson or, I mean, but you don't, anyway, I'm just not
Didn't an
even going to
American
get there.
company buy Molson?
Yes,
Yeah.
Coors, which is, Coors used to be, yeah, uh,
That's what Smokey and the Bandit was, right?
the
Smokey
Adolf
Coors Light,
Coors, the Adolf
the
Coors company.
champagne of beers.
You know, they, I've had they still sell them in what they call a banquet beer size. And they're like little Labatt's 50 bottles.
Okay, yeah.
So it's sort of cool. And it tastes pretty good. Are you zoning out? What do we got here?
Man, what the
Fires?
hell's going on with me? I don't know what's.
Your bandwidth, buddy.
What,
Well, we'll get away from video for a minute.
yeah, that's what. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I think you probably didn't pay your goddamn bill again.
I don't know why. Like I'm on fiber optic. I should be absolutely.
Oh, it's all bullshit. The high tech is bullshit. I
Yeah,
hate to
because
tell
you're
you.
recording this from your Commodore 64.
I am telling you this from my experience in the industry. So do you want to try to get video again?
Hang on. No, it turned my camera right off. Oh, hang on a second here. Hang on. Start video.
There you go. You're back. No, you know what? It's people don't understand that with computers and shit, there's like intermittent glitches. There's how far up you are. Fuck what kind of atmospheric shit happens.
You know what? Remember I told you at the beginning that it was rodeo week? We have an extra probably 2,000 people in town. So they're going to be sucking up every bit of bandwidth possible. This
Wonder
happens
what
with
they're
cell
watching.
phones too. So people are, yeah. So for 2 days a year, our internet and our cell phones go a little bit wonky here.
So what are you doing with me on the phone or on here? Shit, you should be partying hardy.
Um, well, I drove my member of parliament in the parade today, had his undivided attention for the better part of 90 minutes. You can't buy that kind of time.
You know, it's funny. I'm not going to, I don't want to get into this, but access to people when you need them really does help. I mean,
I
I
have
get
I
it's when,
have my member of parliament's phone number.
well, when you served on, it's what we talked about, doing civic stuff. You meet a lot of people who are, and some of them, are matter.
I very rarely delete anybody off of my social media, some of the really crazy people, but I very rarely delete anybody because um, everybody can be a source of information.
But, anybody who gets elected to office, unless they're totally whacked, knows who got them there. People.
Yeah,
And they're not predisposed to being assholes. I mean, it's easier to be nice to somebody, right?
being
Than
kind
it
is
is
like
being a
the
jerk.
ultimate flex.
Mhm.
Being kind is the ultimate flex. It's
Yeah.
free, right? It doesn't cost you anything. And in the end, like I'm a big believer in karma.
Oh,
So
totally. Karma does it. It really does. I totally agree with that.
I've always
And
tried to be good. Like when I was driving in the parade today, had the windows down, of course, because it was a semi-nice day. Um, Lots of people were shouting my name out. I was just the driver. Hey, there's James Weichel. Hey, James, how are you? Meanwhile, my member of parliament is next to me going, hey, everybody.
yeah, but that
Hi.
makes a big deal, right? Like the guy you get respect that way. You don't get respect by saying, "Look at me."
If only there was somebody in the District of Columbia that we could impart that wisdom on.
What you're dealing with here is, well, let me talk about my ventures across the border that are coming up. We'll
Okay,
get that. I am going to be um, at a book fair on September 26th and 27th in Toronto. The Word on the Street Book Fair, we have a booth where we'll be highlighting God's Paddlers and
okay,
Toughest School and other
okay,
Canadian stuff or Canadian focused books that I've published that my
okay.
publishing house, Ennui Press, has published.
All right.
And I'll be manning the booth with Martin Denny. So if anybody is in the area, in the Greater Toronto area during that time or the next week, maybe, give Martin or myself a shout.
I'm unavailable.
I didn't know. I'm saying if anybody, people in
I
Toronto
know.
listen to this shit.
Come on, I'm making a joke here.
I know of at least one person. No, you're right. But anyway, so it's really, it's my first book. it's my first try to go to a book fair to actually sell shit. I got to be
You might
honest
be
with you.
surprised.
The thing I went into this just trying to make the best product I could because I knew if you don't do that, you're fucked. No
Yeah.
matter what happens, right? At the very least, even if this is a complete failure, I'm very happy with the product. But the
But
reality
you
is it's
can't
not
say
a complete failure.
it's been successful as far as the feedback that you've gotten. Um, God, I mean, God's Paddlers, I think, speaks to probably a wider audience than Toughest School does. Your Toughest School, you'll probably get, I mean, there's half of the alumni probably that would buy that if they had it, like from all three of the schools.
Well,
Um,
toughest school still sells. It's really
well, because
interesting.
people keep finding it still.
Well, the books, like the books sell together too. I mean, I'm actually sort of interested to see how they mesh. And if you look, I mean, in all credit to Richard DeCandole,
Yeah.
you know, if you go through God's Paddlers, he Riley cites
Oh,
his
yeah.
first draft of Toughest School that was called Boarding School Ballads.
Yeah.
We changed that name.
Yeah. Well, and
My very
your
minor
contribution to the world and
contribution
everything.
to the effort.
Um, the they do go well together, and I think both books um speak to everybody. God's Paddlers is going to speak to anybody who went to St. John's because if you went to St. John's, any of the schools, you know what happened at Temiskaming because it was drilled into your head. Or
Theoretically,
you were an alumni at the time, and you're like, "Holy crap!" Um, Toughest school, like Richard was he was one of the first students that went there, or one of the very early students that went there.
early
I still was able to read it with rapt attention because the some of the people are the same. Uh, you know, Peter Jackson was a
Jackson,
classmate with him, and he was my headmaster.
McKay, yep.
Keith McKay, another one. Um, and he was they were instrumental at the Alberta school. So and Paul Nordall, who we had on a couple of years ago, he went to the Selkirk school. Um, so some of the people are the same. The situations are the same in a lot of ways, right? Here's what this plucky little school did. And then all of us who went to St. John's and did a canoe trip or did a hiking trip or did a winter exploratory, we I'm, I'm generalizing maybe here, but when I was reading God's Paddlers, one, I already knew what happened. I knew everybody, I knew that those 13 people died. I knew that. I knew it was coming. But I'm reading this with rapt attention, going, oh my God, I was in that canoe, right? I
Yes.
did trips similar to that.
You knew what
Where
it was like to
we
be in
shot
that.
Crazy Rapids, where you're out in the middle of the bush. We're on these uh, insane hikes where if you step off the trail, you're going to go 200 feet down to the bottom, and a helicopter can't get you. So, you're going to be bare food.
Yeah, and the Temiskaming part to me, when I was editing it, I was looking at, okay, so what the fuck happened? In other words, I literally, like the first thing I did is I had a map drawn
Yeah,
to see, okay, here's, where the Sorensens, the topping lodge was. Here's where they started in that day. Here's where, and I started asking questions. So where were the canoes?
yeah.
You know what? Nobody knows. I mean, nobody really had in their mind that I could find, like what happened when and where. All they know is that the first canoe goes, the second, the third, the fourth. And I tried to parse through each event as best as I could, keeping in mind the boys. of what it was like to paddle,
Yeah.
what it was like to dump, because I've dumped,
Yeah.
and what it was like to have hypothermia set in, which has
Yeah.
happened to me personally,
Yeah.
not in the water, but um, you know, and how
Yeah.
I felt, when I dumped, and we didn't practice dumping. This is all bullshit. You know what? You didn't go, where did you dump? You were on the fucking Red River. Like you went, I don't know if you've been to the Red, but it's a
No.
badass river. It's a shitty, it's brown. It's a
Oh.
great place for fucking catfish. Like I swear people go noodling, for catfish. I mean, there's a big catfish statue in the fucking town. But nobody wants to dump in that shit. You'll be doing laundry for the next fucking 3 weeks trying to get the dirt out, you know? So I don't want to hear that bullshit that they were. I just, anyway, when I dumped, I remember what it was like, but I also remember I was a really fucking good swimmer. I mean, I was in the
Yeah.
ocean a lot as a kid. That's where I learned how
Mhm.
to swim. I didn't learn how to swim. Well, I learned in a pool, but I would go surfing, not surfing, but body surfing,
Yeah.
in the fucking waves. But they didn't know if those kids could swim.
Yeah.
Okay, nobody asked me, can you swim? A lot of that shit came later.
Well, because of Temiskaming, we did dumping practice
Oh,
in
you had to then, man. There
we
was
had
no
to at that
fucking
point,
way.
but
Yeah.
when we did our dumping practice before we did the Drayton Valley race, and it was like a little oxbow off of the uh, North Saskatchewan River there, I think. So perfectly safe, uh, able to do it. And we dumped. Now that was the only time that I've ever actually dumped in one of the big canoes. On my second canoe trip, when we're going down the Churchill River system, and so this is second trip. I've been through two dumping practices, um, done a canoe trip, knew what was coming. We'd gone through a set of rapids, and there was one more canoe to come, and we had four canoes in our brigade. The first two that had gone through, they started going, and I was with Murray Davis was my steersman. He was the brigade leader, and he's like, "Well, we're going to wait for them to come through." It was Colin Belton's canoe, and the V that you want to go down. Well, they missed, and so now they're going through this shit in this rapids, and they're going through and they dumped. And I was talking to one of my buddies from that canoe, Trevor Headingham, and he said, dumping practice was shit. He said, what taught me more about dumping was the Voyager movie that we had watched a few weeks before. And there's a canoe that goes through the rapids, and they talk about missing the V, and they got these guys, actors or whatever, and they dumped the canoe. He says that was more used to me than actual dumping practice.
Well, the idea that, the it's interesting because God's Paddlers has brought in a lot of other people to, not a lot of other people, but there's been theories that have been coming out of the woodwork as
Oh,
to it was the canoes that
I
are
saw that.
responsible. Hmm?
I saw that. That was in the book.
Yeah, but that's also a very prevalent theory that somehow Chestnut delivered faulty canoes. But
They'd never been tested.
oh fuck me. You know
Well,
what?
I mean,
No,
they
time
had never
out.
paddled those canoes before.
Fuck me. Time out. When's the last time you got into a fucking canoe and didn't think you were going to roll over? Tell me. Come on.
Didn't think I was going to roll over. I don't know. Well, like the big ones that like the ones that we built at in Alberta, those sons of bitches were stable.
Bullshit.
We,
You still had to get your ass on that seat and you still had to balance. I don't give a fuck who you were.
yeah, you had the balance.
You had to
I
balance.
mean,
So I
it's
don't
like
want to
anything. It's
hear.
like driving a car. If you don't know how to drive a car, you're gonna get in an accident.
So blaming the fucking canoe for tipping over I'm sorry. if that's the case, I mean, I just can't, to me, there's so many other things you can look at that happened that are causal or would add to it that, go beyond just blaming an inanimate object.
Do any of
When,
those canoes still exist?
yeah,
Like the ones from that trip?
yes, there's one in the Peterborough Canoe Museum.
Oh, I'd love to jump in that.
It's there. I go to the look at the website. It's a Père l'Allemand,
Okay.
one of the four canoes painted blue,
Yeah.
which, by the way, had nothing to do with them not ever finding the first canoe that tipped. I realized while editing this that nobody ever found the canoe that tipped first. No, and those kids just hung
Like it
on to the
sank, it's
canoe.
gone.
Hmm?
Is
No,
it
they couldn't
gone?
find it. It was fucking painted blue. Maybe that the canoe was painted blue might have had an issue. Might have caught, a blue canoe tipping in a lake with white caps.
Oh, you'd never find it. Ours were red, yours
That's,
were yellow.
as Chris Walls said, that's a bingo. And they never did. And I realized that as I was putting this together. I didn't know that. I didn't know that I figured, oh, they at least, they just couldn't rescue him. But the reason they didn't, and by the way, everybody died in that canoe except the steersman, except
Yeah.
Thompson. That was Thompson's canoe.
Yeah.
And while I was editing God's Paddlers, I realized that nobody ever found that canoe. And the kids stayed way too long at the canoe where they should have just left the canoe and gone to shore.
Yeah.
Just fucking made, beeline for shore. It would have sucked. They would have, they'd find the canoe later as they did anyway. But, the canoe being blue, I think, if you want to blame the fucking canoe, let's start with what you painted it. Because as you know, you were red.
Yeah. Well,
We
at
were
least,
yellow.
yes, we had one of your canoes. We had the Cochrane,
Mm.
and it was heavy, but that son of a bitch was
Oh,
fast.
the canvas, the construction, what they do, they just layer more fiberglass on it.
Fiberglass.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did the
So it
same
would
thing.
like get what you'd have a water, like a water all through between the fiberglass and the cedar, basically at all times.
Our our shop foreman that we had, great guy named Jim Thera, and he made it his mission one year. I think it was my second year there. He pulled all the canoes into the shop and they power sanded layers and layers and layers of the
Oh,
resin out. And then, because if you punch a hole in your canoe and you're out in the middle of the sticks, well, you just pour more resin in the bottom
yeah.
and more and more and more, so they're heavier and heavier. He sanded so much of that out.
But
Yeah,
I've been in a canoe with your buddy. Did you know Corkett?
it's not ringing a bell.
Mr. Corkett? He was like a master at St. John's.
No.
And oh man, nice guy. Um, good drinker, heavy drinker. Like we'd always say, don't cork it, give it to me. But so we're going down a fucking rapid. And before we go, this is on my Grand Portage.
Yeah.
And before we go down the rapid, everybody is sitting there, looking at the V, right? Because you shoot for the V.
Yeah.
And everybody goes, look at that rock. See how the water goes up, covers a rock, and then comes down, right?
Yeah.
The surge. There's a sur
Yeah.
It's like it's waves. That's why
Yeah.
I loved rapids because it was really like waves in the ocean in a lot of
Yeah.
ways, right? They're very periodic. So what does Corkett do? He plants a fucking canoe right on top of the rock at its high point. and the thing goes like this.
Oh no.
And I got shoved forward. I was in the back. I always sat, next to the steersman so they could spear me with a fucking steersman paddle
Yeah.
because I was a lily dipper, obviously. But anyway, the momentum just shoves you, right? When you tip or something happens, you have to go, you're just,
Physics takes over.
yeah, physics takes. Corkit goes out the back of the canoe, but is somehow holding on to a line. The water comes back up and the canoe just like snaps
Oh,
back into place. And we start going down the rapid with Corkit hanging on at the back. But what I was saying is the construction, right, with the resin, it literally just like, even though the ribs were cracked, the ribs did crack because it bent,
yeah.
it fucking bent.
Pipes.
It all snapped back. And the resin saved the day. But heavy as shit. Like doing those on the Grand Portage, which we had to do, was just brutal. A lot of weight, for four kids to be hauling. So just for the listener, well, those of who didn't go, you'd have to shoulder. There'd be four people on each canoe, two at the back, two at the front, and you'd have to. The Grand Portage is a 9 mile portage
Oh,
that the trip is named after, right off Lake Superior.
yeah.
First day
So
and a
champion.
half, first day of the Grand, you have to, they would train us to do that. Like we'd have to carry food boxes out to the power lines and back.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
we had small portages, nothing close to that,
no,
but um, we we carried them. It was my second trip that we did that, and the only reason I was portaging anything because I'm a fairly tall guy, right? I was about 6'6" then,
wow.
and they paired me with an alumni steersman who came along, Mr. Ian Hunter, who was about
I've
my
heard of
height.
him.
Yeah, big bear of a man. But if if he hadn't been on that trip, I wouldn't have been portaging anything because I was that much taller than everybody else. There was one portage that I did, and uh, the brigade leader was Murray Davis. He was also fairly tall, but I was still probably 6 inches taller than him. And so, for whatever reason, Ian wasn't available, so they paired me with Mr. Davis. And we got to the end of that. He's like, "Yeah, no, it's we're not doing that again."
Well, they could always just have made you a mule
Yeah, oh yeah, and that would have been it.
and
Taking the
put
food
packs on
boxes,
you.
taking the packs. Um, that's what a lot of the smaller kids ended up doing because they were too short. Um, I was almost too tall.
No, that's yeah, the short guys would like they'd try to match you up with somebody your height. Oh, fun, fun, fun. But anyway, we're going to be up in Toronto, which will be interesting I'm sure we'll see some old boys show up,
There's a few
but hopefully
available.
some other people.
I think both are good stories that can stand on their own. God's Paddler is a wider audience. That's an out more of an outdoor crowd is gonna read that because it's like you know
We'll
you
see.
there's been another fuck up.
Well, anyway, look, this is great. I'm going to actually try to publish this thing in the next day or so.
Yeah,
But I'm thrilled that we did this. So I want to thank you again, James. Um,
I love doing these things.
it's fun, you know, to, ingratiate yourself. You didn't tell us who the MP was, though.
Arnold Viersen.
Who?
Arnold Viersen. He's
V.
it's a huge writing. It's what the Peace River Westlock, I think, is what the writing is called. It's
So
changed
is he a
names a few.
liberal or a PC or a?
No, are you? Are you fucking kidding me? This is
NDP?
Northern Alberta, sir. My cat could run as a conservative and win here.
Really? So, well, he's not UCP.
No, no, he's federal.
So he didn't have to give up he didn't want to give up his seat for Poilievre.
The guy who gave up his seat down in Battle River won it by a higher percentage.
I'd be pissed.
Uh-huh. A lot of people, and the problem with when they
He's
put
not a
people in
leader.
there, we've got, I don't know if you've heard of it, this longest ballot initiative, where these people they want to show how ridiculous the system is. So they register hundreds of people. The by-election that he won, the names weren't written on the ballot. You had to write it in because there were that many. They couldn't
Uh,
print the ballot.
I,
But when he
that
lost
came
his seat
from
in Ontario, in Charlton, there they had hit him up and they printed the ballot. Like the ballot was, you can't even see it. It was, 3 feet long.
the
It,
governor's ballot in California for the primary was ridiculous. I mean, only it was like there had to be 50 people on it. You had to search for, the right person to vote for. It
they
was
still use
bad.
punch machines.
No, well, for now we're doing mail-in ballots. Like I did a mail-in. Most people mail it in is the way to
Well,
vote. That's the best way to
until
vote.
the great God Trump outlaws it.
It's so fucked up. Yeah, that's so bad. Trying to do that. It's like he votes by mail for fuck's sake.
I
That's the
know.
hypocrisy of it. And mailing ballots came in for the soldiers too,
Yeah.
because you can't, you're not going to
Oh, I
go
know. And they're saying you should have everything counted in one day. That's not how this works.
anyway. Well, with that, James, we'll see you soon. Talk to you
Absolutely.
soon.
We could do a whole other podcast just on that stuff.
Oh God, I'd never end. I'd never get a chance to actually post it. So with that, goodbye everybody, and we'll see you soon.